You may believe you have seen it all, but believe me, you haven't. Chrissy Lampkin, the person we all assumed we knew from television, passed away in court today. But nobody anticipated this. It wasn't just an emotional breakdown. 'Twas her. World collapsing in real time. But that's not even the most bizarre part, in case you didn't know. Cameron is the last person anyone anticipated holding the key. Do you think this is just another courtroom drama? Think again. Cameron's holding. Could ruin Chrissy's career, and no one is prepared for it. He dropped secret evidence that will destroy everything we thought we knew about her, including hidden recordings, shocking documents, and things that were never supposed to be seen. What's next? This goes beyond a simple scandal. Stay tuned because you're about to witness a bombshell of epic proportions. This scandal began like any other court day, with paparazzi flashing fans lining the streets, hoping to catch a glimpse of Chrissy Lampkin as she strutted into the courthouse like she said she would. Remained in charge of the story, wearing big shades, high-end shoes, and stunning hair. But beneath all of that glitz, a woman was just a few seconds away from a complete public breakdown. And nobody, not even Chrissy herself, was prepared for the mayhem that was about to break out because that day, sitting in the courtroom, silent but deadly, was a man she hadn't spoken to in years, Cameron. And this wasn't "no, I'm the judge" entered. The solicitors nodded, and then, suddenly, a mysterious silver briefcase slid across the prosecution's desk, labeled the Chrissy files, and you could sense it in the room. However, Cam wasn't here to support my friends. Rather, he was here with a purpose, the kind that ends careers in court. About a civil issue, something significant was about to surface. The energy changed when they plugged in that flash drive, and the first thing that appeared were screenshots of hundreds or thousands of group chats, deleted messages, and encrypted WhatsApps, with the exception of Chrissy's nervous acrylics tapping against the desk. The courtroom was quiet, but the bombshell voice note that made for 10 whole seconds. Everyone in that room stops breathing. That clip alone was enough to start a media frenzy, but then came the leaked security camera footage from a private Miami hotel suite showing Chrissy pacing in heels and screaming on the ground. Her voice was angry, venomous, and desperate. If they think I'm letting Jim go down alone, they're crazy. I built this. I own this. Boom. The entire courtroom gasped as the judge literally told everyone to calm down. Chrissy tried to look calm, but her cheeks turned pale and her jaw tightened, as if she were holding back a scream because who was G? She was ranting about account manipulation and how Cam had flipped. She also said that Cam got dirt, but if he talks, I'll burn the entire Dipset empire to the ground. What most people don't know is that Cam and Chrissy were practically family. Back before Love and Hip Hop, before the VH1 checks, before the matching Gucci on red carpets. However, rumors have it that things soured in 2018 after a huge falling out over a backdoor deal involving real estate money that mysteriously disappeared. Unnamed sources close to the courtroom claim that Cameron never received his cut and remained silent for years until now. Insiders claim that this wasn't Cam's attempt to gain influence, but rather a personal one. According to a different leak, Chrissy transferred about $150,000 from a purported foundation for women's empowerment to a private luxury brand venture. However, that company never even launched. The only thing that did was Chrissy's abrupt image makeover, in which cosmetic artists and stylists staged paparazzi encounters using charity funds meant for unmarried mothers. These days, the IRS is apparently watching every transaction. And let's not forget the NDA. A confidential arrangement was described in a hefty, signed document dated 2018 between Cam and Chrissy Jim about a private altercation that involved physical threats, recording devices, and purported payments to keep it all secret. Guess what? Cam's team had it all, page by page, line by line, and they gave it to the judge like a steakhouse menu. Chrissy's lawyer attempted to object, downplaying it as unimportant history. But the judge wasn't buying it, so he rejected the request. At that point, Chrissy broke down, leaned forward, and mumbled something to her lawyer before crying uncontrollably and smearing her eyes with mascara. The sort of tears you see on TV. But the type that cry when you realize you're losing everything. As the cameras panned in, you could hear her whispering something he shouldn't have done as her lip quivered and she covered her face. Although everyone was riveted to Chrissy, they failed to see that Cam's legal team wasn't finished yet. In fact, they had more accusations. He sat there still, unflinching, and blinking as if he was watching justice finally be served. Financial records and an unnamed source who was prepared to testify that Chrissy had manipulated the finances for several seasons worth of production, according to the source. Chrissy was using show money to finance opulent vacations under the pretense of business retreats. To make matters worse, she reportedly persuaded a young public relations assistant to sign a fictitious invoice claiming $22,000 in media placement fees that were actually used for her birthday. That same assistant, who now works for a competing network, is apparently prepared to speak on camera at a yacht party in Turks and Caicos. Instagram blogs were going crazy. Twitter was on fire. Every 5 minutes, conspiracy videos appeared on TikTok. Some claimed Cam had planned this the entire time, while others thought Chrissy had pushed him too far with something behind the scenes. But it's obvious that the public have quickly changed their opinion of her. She always seemed dubious. To me, someone commented about times someone pulled her card. Even celebrities were chiming in, was posted by another. And this is why I don't work with reality stars who think they're CEOs, a verified producer tweeted. Because this wasn't just a messy love triangle scandal, but rather one involving Rico energy racketeering, financial fraud, tampering, and possibly even obstruction. Chrissy's freedom was at stake. People in the courtroom were chatting about how the feds were in the hallway and her lawyer appeared to be 5 years older than he actually was. And then the judge called for a break. As the courtroom cleared out and Chrissy was escorted out, Cam wasn't the only one with receipts. According to rumors, Jim Jones wasn't even present and has been avoiding the entire situation. So it's hard to blame him. Chrissy didn't get up. Instead, she just sat there with her shoulders shaking and a tissue in one hand. Hold it together. Mama Jones, the woman who never stops talking, was seen entering through the back entrance with what appeared to be a manila folder and a Bluetooth in her ear. If you know Mama Jones, you already know that she only appears when things are about to get ugly. What is in that folder? What is her role in all of this? And why did Cameron when she entered the courtroom? The smirk hadn't even subsided yet, and reporters were still outside broadcasting live. And bloggers were already hurling Chrissy canceled into their headlines, but Mama Jones had just entered the quiet hallway, and the entire atmosphere changed. She didn't say anything, but her eyes were full of drama, and her stride was full of fire. To console Chrissy, she approached her, and holding the manila folder, she walked straight past security like she owned the building and into the private witness room without hesitation. When the door closed behind her, the only sound anyone could hear was her voice resonating through the vents, telling them what she had done. Chrissy or I would now listen. This place has a dark, twisted past that has never been resolved. We didn't know how far Chrissy allegedly went to silence Mama behind the scenes, according to a leaked email that mysteriously appeared on a gossip blog minutes after Mama arrived. Chrissy and Mama Jones had never had a peaceful moment since the early days of love and hip-hop. They fought over everything, including money and power. Because Mama had threatened to reveal a deal Chrissy had made behind Jim's back, selling partial rights to one of his unreleased music catalogs to a private investor in Atlanta, catalog that allegedly wasn't even Chrissy's. Two-Touch Chrissy once offered a reality show producer $50,000 to cut all Mama Jones scenes from season 4. Now, years later, with everything falling apart, Mama Jones has finished remaining silent, and according to insiders, she kept receipts in court. Things quickly became more complicated, and Chrissy hadn't returned yet. She was still locked in the witness room with Mama. However, Cameron was back, in his seat, and appeared far too composed, as if he knew that the storm had finally passed her side of the street. At that point, the prosecution revealed the second bombshell that had recently surfaced. In a March 2020 voicemail to an unidentified woman, Chrissy yells, "I told you to use the ghost account, not the F connection." Now they're tracing it in a panic over a missing wire transfer. Right now, this has nothing to do with Lil Durk or the crew, but the fact that F is mentioned in any financial, every warning sign is raised by the conversation under inquiry. Potential prosecutors asked the court right away for time to subpoena banking records from 2 Atlanta-based shell companies that were allegedly connected to Chrissy's business team. Just when we thought this couldn't get any worse, the FBI entered the hallway, complete with suits and badges, and it wasn't just for show. Names they requested to speak with Chrissy's legal team in private court was once more stopped. The atmosphere in the room was so high that one insider, posing as a legal intern, released a text message that said, "They found the offshore accounts. Boom, game over." People had been whispering for years. Authorities think Chrissy was transferring show money, charity gifts, and brand partnerships into offshore accounts under 3 names, including CL Monroe. Her abrupt wealth jumps include new automobiles, lavish vacations, and million-dollar investments, all without any active sources of income. Christina Jones and Vera Santiago, who have the same birthday and 3 names registered in Panama, didn't. Even when it was revealed, he flinched and simply leaned back with his arms crossed, grinning as if he had been waiting for this moment since 2019. Meanwhile, Chrissy had not returned to the courtroom, and people began speculating that she was having a full-blown breakdown in the back. Then the last person anyone had anticipated arrived. Jim Jones, who appeared exhausted and unchained. Dazzling drip, wearing only a hoodie, sunglasses, and a look as if he hadn't slept in days. He didn't look at the cameras, didn't say hello to anyone, and went straight to Mama Jones. He whispered something in her ear and gave her and Chrissy a hug. She emerged a few seconds later, her mascara running, her lips quivering, and she reached for Jim's hand, which he withdrew. Jim said in a voice loud enough for everyone in the front seats to hear, "You lied to me for years, and now the feds know everything." When Chrissy's shoulders broke and her face fell apart, she froze. Mama Jones turned away, and Jim left. The public quickly shared the incident online. Videos of Jim rejecting Chrissy in court began to surface on TikTok. And when Chrissy revealed Mama Jones' warning, the real reason why he snapped on Instagram went crazy. A user wrote, "I've known Chrissy was shady. She played everyone but Cam." Another stated, "This is federal and it's bigger than reality TV. Indictment level." And they weren't mistaken, because the court resumed with one last exhibit, an anonymous statement from a former VH1 executive producer that was submitted just hours earlier. According to the document, Chrissy regularly paid editing teams to alter her appearance on screen by eliminating verbal views, threats, and even alleged physical disputes in exchange for giving them access to prominent influencers and brand connections. In one terrifying line, it was stated that Chrissy weaponized reality television and every man around her to build an empire of lies. After a lengthy wait, the judge established a date. Next Friday, a formal investigation hearing will start. In the meanwhile, Ms. Lampin is needed to give up her passport and stop doing anything in the media about this case. Chrissy started crying again and turned to face her lawyer before turning to Pastor Jones, who refused to even look at her. She tried to reach for Jim, but he had already left. That power couple brand had destroyed that reality TV royalty image, and she was about to leave in silence when a voice called out from the corridor, "Andy Smith. Oh, you're quiet now, but you were very talkative when I was on the chopping block." Boom! Another twist. Another enemy? Another chapter about to begin. Because it seems like Yandin D has her own receipts. Rumor has it that she has been waiting for years to expose Chrissy. And now that the truth is coming to light, she's ready to do so. This storm of betrayal, legal battle, and reality TV retaliation continues in part 3, where Yandi enters the ring, more secrets are revealed, and the feds tighten the news. If this shook you as much as it shook us, don't even consider scrolling. Hit the like button, subscribe, and enable notifications because this story isn't finished yet. Secrets are coming to light, and I promise you won't want to miss what comes next. Tell me in the comments if you believe Chrissy is guilty or if she's merely the fall girl in a larger scheme. Let's discuss it because this drama is far from over. Completed.